This is Texans TV.
Get the lowdown on some potential future Texans and go beyond the boots with the Houston Texans Cheerleaders. Texans 360 is now.
Rock and roll, touchdown Texans. Luke with the catch. Oh my goodness.
Happy Super Bowl Eve, my friends. Hope you're having a good one. This is Texans 360. I'm your host, Drew Doherty, with my good pal, John Harris. It's great to have you back. You were in Mobile last week. You've been in Houston this week, and we're so thankful for that. We've got a big show, Johnny, because we got to get your thoughts on some potential Houston Texans who were there at the Senior Bowl. We're also going to go beyond the boots, and we're getting cinematic. That's a nice tease for a little bit later. But we got to start with some news of the week because the Texans made it official. Bill O'Brien adds the title of general manager to the title he had as head coach. And Jack Easterby is executive vice president of football operations. It's stuff that they've been doing already, but the big news was those titles got official.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Cal McNair made it clear. He said, this is the way we've been doing business for the last 8 months. So nothing really to see here, but there's clarification, I suppose, because there still were questions of general manager. There was obviously a name thrown out there, and now there's clarity as to how it goes. Head coach, GM, executive vice president of football operations. Very clear that it begins and pretty much ends with those two gentlemen, Bill O'Brien and Jack Easterby.
And you and I are going to get into the specifics of some guys who could wind up here a little bit later in the show because you were at the Senior Bowl, like we mentioned. And this is not something that it's just Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is not in a room by himself observing prospects and going through it. He's got, like he's mentioned many times before, a team of people underneath him and scouts and personnel guys that have been doing this already and have already started this ball along the road.
Yeah, there are plenty of scouts that are out there for the Texans. I mean, Texans have college scouts through every area of the country. They're going to have about 8 or 9 picks when it's all said and done. And that's just what they have now. That's not to say that they're not going to be wheeling and dealing a little bit on draft weekend to add more. I was in Mobile. I saw plenty of Texans representation all over Ladd Peebles Stadium, checking things out there, trying to find future Texans.
Yeah, and I want to hear about some of them, but we're going to do that in just a little bit because now we got to turn things over to Orlando. Last week was the Pro Bowl, but some of those Pro Bowlers from other teams, they had some thoughts about the Houston Texans. Check this out.
TJ Watt, we're at the Pro Bowl here with Josh Allen. Stefan, I know you and DeAndre Hopkins have had some fun battles together. He's obviously not here, but what do you see when you face a receiver like him?
He's a great player. I feel like the thing about him is, him playing the ball in the air. He got that dog mentality in him. He's a fighter on the field. Anytime you have that and a guy across from you have that, that's when the battles come out. That's one thing that stick out for me for him.
On third down, he's got time, and he's sacked back at the 23-yard line by J.J. Watt, and the crowd erupts.
What are your thoughts on him being able to come back from the injury the way that he did? Obviously, you've seen what he's gone through in the last few years with the injury, but being able to come back on the field and work his way back and all the effort that he did.
Yeah, I know everybody knows he wasn't close to 100%, but he just really wanted to go out there for his team, the city, and just being in the playoffs means so much to him, and I think this deep in his career, he knows how rare those playoff games can be. So just to be able to put himself out there and play good football, I think was very impressive, and I'm very proud of him for that.
What do you think of Deshaun Watson? You got to face him twice this year. He's out here for the Pro Bowl as well. You get to have a little bit more fun with him off the field, but what do you think of him as a player, as a person, from what you've seen so far?
He's a great – I haven't talked to him yet, but I heard he's a great person. I believe he's a generational player, a guy that could change the game for the best for the NFL and for the football in general.
He's gotten better, he's made some big throws. He's a great quarterback. It's hard to find those guys, so I think Houston has a good one.
Jonathan Joseph speaks very, very, very highly of you because you guys are from the same hometown. When you look at a guy like that and all the years that he's played in the league, are you impressed with how he's able to do it for so long?
Yeah, it's crazy. I looked up to him as a kid, and now that I'm in the league, he's still playing he's one of the reasons I play the position right now. From my hometown, not too many people, make it and especially play at a high level like he did. And it's me seeing it from the outside in, it made me want to accomplish those goals.
DP Sidhu had so much fun getting some of that content. You can see more of it on HoustonTexans.com as well as the Houston Texans mobile app. So get that QR code working because QR codes are sweeping the nation. John, you know what else is sweeping the nation? Looking back on seasons that were, looking ahead to seasons that will be. So let's focus on 2019 and what the Texans did. Let's go back to August, and let's say it's August 1st. You've got a team in front of you at training camp that was really different once things started about a month later. You had a new left tackle. You had a guy named Duke Johnson added to the fold. It was very, very different, and then what wound up happening was you win 10 games against a schedule that was really challenging.
Yeah, it's interesting because I started seeing some talk on social media about what the Texans did in 2019. And look, we all wanted them to go further. We all wanted them to play that AFC Championship game here in
Absolutely.
Houston. We all wanted that to happen. I don't think there's any question. I mean, you and I talked about it on our podcast.
You wish we were playing tomorrow.
Yeah,
I mean, you wish we were playing tomorrow.
No question. But when you think about the schedule that the Texans face, and there was talk about it going into the year, the Texans are facing the 5th most difficult schedule or 3rd or whatever it was. To go to LA and beat the Chargers, to go to Kansas City and beat the Chiefs, to be 3-1 against the AFC West, to have those wins, to go to London for the first time and beat up on Jacksonville 26-3, and probably the team's most complete game. Those are all feathers in their cap. Yes, wanted them to go further, wanted them to at least play an AFC Championship game. Have they got an AFC Championship game? Maybe we're all in Miami. Maybe we're doing a show down in Miami. But they had a great season that ended not the way they wanted to, but in between some unbelievable moments. And of course, who's going to ever forget that win against Buffalo in the playoff game right here?
Yeah. It ended with a thud. Nobody's denying that. Right. No one at all. But the journey to get there, pretty fun at times. You win 10 games, you've done something right for a season, for an autumn.
Well, I go back to that weekend. You talked about adding Laramie, and Carlos Hyde added Duke Johnson about 2 weeks before that. But that weekend, right after the 4th preseason game, and you started seeing this flurry of activity that was going on, and oh my goodness, we just traded for Laramie Tunsil. Oh, by the way, we've got Kenny Stills in this deal.
Right, yeah.
Holy cow, we just traded to get Carlos Hyde. Who's Jacob Martin? Oh my gosh, I've seen some film on him. He's pretty explosive. There were numerous players added to this roster that we didn't see throughout training camp at all. And you go into that first game against the Saints, and there's Laramie starting left tackle. There's Carlos Hyde starting. Here comes Duke Johnson, who we'd never seen in a Texans uniform to that point. And to put all that together and go win 10 games and win the AFC South for the 4th time in 6 years, and the 6th time in 9 years or whatever it is, it's a pretty big feather in the cap. Now 2020 becomes, can we take it further? It's an opportunity to take it further. You still have number 4 coming back at quarterback, and that's obviously where it starts, and that's going to be good news for us, not so good news for everybody else in the schedule in 2020.
That's right. No matter what happens around him, above him, below him, as long as you have Deshaun Watson under center, good things very likely going to happen. So you like 2019, the journey to get there. You didn't like how it ended. So, of course, go back and check things out on the app. We've got the top plays from the season. It's pretty fun stuff. So we will have that and a whole lot more. But a little bit later, get an inside look at some Houston Texans cheerleaders. Beyond the Boots is next. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Texans 360. Drew Doherty and John Harris. And you know, the good guys went 11-7 when you tally it all up as far as the regular season and the postseason. They had the 2 playoff games. But the Houston Texans cheerleaders, John, undefeated like always. And they were undefeated in the community because they're out and about doing great things for the city of Houston and beyond.
Here at the Houston Texans, we have 3 imperatives that we like to live by. That is to win championships, to create memorable experiences, and to do great things for Houston. We do so much more than just cheer on the sidelines. Being a Houston Texans cheerleader is about being a role model and to giving back our time to the community.
Hello, we're the Houston Texans Cheerleaders, and we are here today at the Houston Food Bank.
Being involved in the community is very dear to my heart because, you know, I didn't grow up with much, and I feel like it's important for me as an HTC to do more than just dance. It's important to get involved and honestly give back to the community because they're the most important part of this organization, not just HTC, not just the players, not just the people that work here, but the community. We care about them just as much as they care about us.
We made some ornaments, got a little creative.
We see a lot of familiar faces around the community and around appearances. And we know that they support us, we know that they love us, and we really do have the best fans in the NFL. They're there for us, so we want to be there for them. So it's very important for us, and we look forward to seeing them out in the community.
Let me see your faces when you're going to be dancing. What is your face going to look like? Oh, I like it. Let me see.
Different expressions.
Okay, I can give them like a wink.
Whenever we are interacting with little kids and some of them come up to me and they say, I want to be a Houston Texans cheerleader when I get older, it almost brings me to tears almost every time because we talk about more than just what are they doing in cheer or dance. I talk to them about what they're doing in school, what they're learning about, what their favorite subjects are. I usually tell them stories about what I've done out in the community and how big of an impact that one small act of kindness can do.
Just as football players are role models to certain types of people, I feel like we're also role models. And I remember being a kid and looking up to the cheerleaders. So I know that every day that I go to a volunteer appearance, I am making a difference in someone's life. So we are out there and we're just bringing a little bit of the game to them and bringing a smile.
When I did the Deshaun Watson Foundation Halloween Bash, that was one of my favorite appearances because it's in a low-income area, it's a Title I school, and those kids are super, super excited for us to be there. And the kids ran up to me and Reese, and they were just hugging us and didn't want to let go. And it's like they showed us all of this love and how much they really loved us. And I tell them, I'm like, hey, if you do all the right things, if you continue doing what you're doing every day and try to be better every day, you can too fulfill your dreams.
One of the most memorable experience was last year, my rookie year, is when we did a homecoming appearance. We teamed up with Palo Royal and Habitat for Humanity, and we went out to a family that they were donating a home to because this family, she was a single mom and had 2 kids, and she lost everything during Hurricane Harvey. And we were there to surprise her with her new home, and that experience to see what the Texans are doing for everyone out in the community was really special for me to be there to experience that.
Hi. The shoes.
It's something that's become so important to me, and Houston Texans Cheerleaders has definitely instilled that sort of work and volunteer work as a new passion of mine. Being able to be involved in opportunities like this as a team, it really brings a team closer. It's something that everybody should definitely try, and the more that you do it, the more rewarding it becomes, whether it's a devastation that occurs or whether it's just something really simple that you're doing to make someone's life a little bit better.
To be in HTC now and see where I came from and where I am now, and then to go out in the community and make a difference in these people's lives. I just feel like that's the way that I've given back, just to go out and make sure that I'm a great ambassador for this organization and that I'm also trying to make a difference in their life and let them know that no matter where you come from, no matter where your situation may be, you know, everybody can be something.
Coming up, John Harris gives you all you need to know about what he saw at the Senior Bowl. Texans 360 rolls on in a moment.
I got the camo. See that darn dude? You see that? What's up, brother? I like the shades, brother. I like the shades.
Thank you.
Ray-Ban.
Ray-Ban?
Yes, sir. Look at that one.
Great to have Laramie Tunsil on the Houston Texans. Nice to see him at the Pro Bowl. Very cool to see a GoPro on him. And John Harris, we need to put a GoPro on you when the Texans are in a really tight game that they win, because it would be just a spasm of emotion and activity.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a good reason there's no GoPro on me, because you would be watching it with your head going up and down like this, because that's pretty much how it goes on the sidelines.
He jumps up and down a lot as the radio sideline reporter. He gets excited. We get excited, too, by the Senior Bowl. I've been a few times.
Yep.
You go every year now. You were in Mobile last week checking out the practices, because the practices are much more important than the actual game that's played on Saturday. And you get up close. You get to see a lot of these guys. I don't want to talk about the top players that are going to get drafted 3rd, 4th, 5th overall. I want to talk about the guys who might be around when the Texans are picking. They're slated right now with the 55th pick. It's a 2nd rounder. What about the 3rd round for all that? The guys that the Texans might have a chance to take offensively, give me a name or two that really stood out to you and really got you excited.
Well, it's an interesting time, really, because when I was down in Mobile the last few years, I kind of had an idea. Okay, 2016, 2017, I went to go talk to the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I was talking to Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz. I was talking to all the quarterbacks down there. It was pretty clear who we were talking to. Last year, tried to find as many offensive linemen as I could talk to. This year was a little bit different because it's, a little bit, I'm going to say all over the map, but it felt like it was a really good group of wide receivers. The wide receiver group was unbelievably good. And I had 2 receivers that stood out to me. One, local guy, Baylor University. Denzel Mims was fantastic.
Okay.
He was absolutely electric.
And he'd be around probably when the Texans
I think he would be around in the 2nd round. He would be there. And another guy that I really liked was Liberty wide receiver Antonio Gandy Golden.
It's a good name.
Great name.
AGG.
Yeah, it's a great name. And I thought he was really good. And when I watched him, the first thing I thought about was, that's A.J. Brown. You're going, wait, A.J. Brown. Titans wide receiver,
Wow.
A.J. Brown. Now, I don't think he's as explosive as A.J. Brown, but he's also got 3 inches on him. A.J. Brown's only 6'1", Antonio Gandy Golden's about 6'4". So those 2 guys offensively really showed it off from a wide receiver perspective. Other good running backs that maybe you could find on day 3, Joshua Kelly from UCLA, and also LaMichael Pirine, who's from Mobile, went to the University of Florida, has a great story. Those 2 running backs I thought were very good.
Now, defensively, I think the Texans, I'd be surprised if they don't take a pass rusher. And I'd be surprised if they don't take a pass rusher with one of their upper-level picks.
Right.
Who'd you see that might be around when the Texans are selecting?
2 guys that are really intriguing, maybe the 2 best pass rushers all week, were Zach Bond from Wisconsin and Josh Uche from Michigan. And the problem in some sense is they're only 235 and 241 pounds respectively. Mm-hmm. So they can't play outside all the time. But when it came time for one-on-one pass rush drills, they went down and just wrecked shop. The best player in Mobile, though, is probably a guy the Texans are going to have to face, and that's Javon Kinlaw from out of South Carolina. 315 pounds, 6'6" inside, dominated. He's going to be someone the Texans are going to have to tangle with. I have a feeling, well, the mock drafts are saying he might go Jacksonville. We might have to see him for twice a year.
Well, listen, last year the Texans picked up 4 guys in their first 5 picks. Both the offensive linemen, in Titus Howard and Max Sharping, Lonnie Johnson as well, and then Charles Omenihu, the defensive lineman. So Senior Bowl is important. It's important every single year. All right, if you want more on the Senior Bowl, check out the mobile app. He's got all his thoughts, all his days that he spent there, plus the Harris 100 is going to come out a little bit later in about a month or so, and that's the top 100 picks in the draft with an extensive breakdown. Okay, stick with us because we got the best shots from Texans TV in 2019. It's all next on 360. Glad you're back. This is Texans 360. We're here in the Arctic Studios shooting things. Drew Doherty, John Harrison. John, you like movies. You like Spielberg. You like Scorsese, don't you?
I absolutely love the movies.
Well, I got some other names for you. It's Suddarth, Marcotte, and Pallas. And
yes.
I just compared those 3 guys to 2 of the legendary filmmakers of all time. And you know why I did that? Because they took a cinematic look back at what went down with the Houston Texans 2019 season.
We got an opportunity today. An opportunity that you earned. An opportunity that you deserve. An opportunity that's been a long time in the making. Yes, sir! We got what it takes. We got the talent. We got the effort. We got the brotherhood right here. Now it's up to us. how great you want to be. Every play, every rep, everything you got, you put it on the line for your brother. Greatness on three. 1, 2, 3, greatness. Oh, let's go.
The ball is out, and McKinney picks it up. 10-5, rock and roll, touchdown, and that seals the deal. Off the edge, it's Bob Belly, gets rid of it downfield. He did it! Touchdown! Jordan Akins, and it's picked off by Roby across the 20, 15, 10, 5, and he walks in for the touchdown.
Right there, great team win. You know, it was very, very good complimentary football, baby. Back to the H. Let's rock and roll.
We're going to playoffs, baby. Let's go. H-Town, stand up, baby. Ain't no better feeling. Now we just got to finish strong, baby. Houston, Texas.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's show. He's got the mobile app. I've got the mobile app. The guy on that camera, that camera, that camera, that camera, and that camera, and the guys behind this wall, they've all got the mobile app. So make sure you have it too, because if you don't, what's wrong? What's going on in your life? John, good stuff as always. You want to come do this again sometime?
Absolutely. I'm back here anytime, brother.
I like it. And I like you for watching this show, and I hope you watch it again next week. This has been Texans 360. So long. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.